Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Drag Chat. Let me introduce my co-host, Miss Rosemary. Hi, Rosemary.
Hi Z, hi everyone.
How you doing?
I'm doing just great, thank you. And you?
I'm good, thank you. Did you enjoy this week's episode?
I sure did. And it surprised me that some of the social media people were not liking the episode, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I have to tell you, I'm kind of with them on this. I'm I'm going to back up Violet Chachki on this one when she said she's kind of over these group acting challenges. I kind of am too. It's been pretty much group challenges every week. Yet it just seems like I'm just backing Violet on this one. I'm kind of over
Mhm.
these. I want to see some individual stuff coming up. So, Rosemary, did you find anything interesting in the workroom this week?
I found a couple of things interesting this week. One of the things that I found that was interesting was when Miss Fame was expressing her dissatisfaction with Pearl's lack of enthusiasm at being on the RuPaul's Drag Race. And I don't think that there's a lack of enthusiasm. I think it's just that's Pearl's persona. She's just not, going to jump through hoops. I'm sure that she appreciates the fact that she's there. Right.
I totally understand what Miss Fame is saying, though, because the others are saying it, and from what they're allowing us to see, it seems that Pearl doesn't really care, where Miss Fame, she's showing that she does care. She's trying to learn, she's trying to grow, and here's somebody who just thinks they're the shit and they can just do it, and I kind of understand where she's coming from on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the others are saying the same thing too. I mean, Mrs. Kasha Davis, it upset her. Now she went home. She tried for 7 years to get on that show, and she's gone. She really wanted it, and Pearl just keeps acting like she could give a shit. You know? Oh well.
I think that that's just her bedroom eyes.
Oh yeah, those bedroom eyes.
And the other thing was when all the girls were talking about who they would have sex with in the group, and Max was a little bit standoffish. And again, social media was saying that she was being very prudish, and I don't think that she was being prudish. I just didn't think she wanted to be involved in that. Some people might find that too gross or whatever. So I give her kudos for not participating in a conversation that she didn't want to be a part of.
I can understand the way Max is thinking and feeling. With as many queens as I have seen and worked with over, the past 35 years, how it's 35 years, I don't know, since I'm only fucking 29. But, anyways, there's just so many of them that are just, it's all about sex, it's all really dirty all the time, and you don't have to be that way all the time. I'm not the kind of person, that I don't know. I can understand where he's at. Not everybody is sex and filth and all that. I mean, I tell dirty jokes, but it's not my main thing. Monster in your pants. Oh, Rosemary, we had a super-sized pit crew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What did you think of this little game?
I thought it was silly. I thought it was silly. But it was cute. They had they enjoyed it. They just had to, guess the numbers, and whoever guessed the most correct numbers, won. So, it was a guessing game. There was really no talent involved as far as I was concerned, except with
Right.
the socks and the underwears type of thing. Because I can't believe all those guys were that well endowed.
Well, I thought it was kind of funny that the one guy comes out with 2.5 inches. I'm like, no way. Anyways, yeah, you're right. This really wasn't a challenge per se. It was a guessing game. But I
Hmm.
thought it was really funny that only one person actually ended up with any numbers, and that was Ginger.
Yeah.
Everybody else found the monster in their pants. Now, the teams ended up being Ginger, Katya, and Kennedy. Second team was Violet, Max, and Candy Ho. And the third team was Pearl, Fame, and Jaden.
Hmm.
First off, what did you think of this challenge, and how do you think the girls did?
I like this challenge. I like this challenge because it really called upon their creativity. First of all, I forgot who Merle Ginsburg was until RuPaul said she was in the very beginning, the first couple of years. Um, so then I had to, refresh my memory. But I thought the girls did pretty well. But of course, I have my favorites, and and I thought Ginger, slayed it.
Mm,
She is such a little actress, that one.
oh, she is. Yeah, well, break it down to the teams here. There were Ginger, Katya, and Kennedy. Kennedy sucked because she couldn't remember her lines. You know,
No, she
I
couldn't
thought
remember her lines, and
I
she didn't do RuPaul justice.
no, I thought Katya was great, and I thought Ginger was great in it.
Mm-hmm.
But Kennedy was the weak link there. Second one was Violet, Max, and Candy Ho.
Mm-hmm.
Violet played Michelle Visage, Max played Merle, and Candy Ho played RuPaul. And again, couldn't remember her lines. It seems like everyone that plays RuPaul can't remember their lines.
Yeah, and not only could she not remember her lines, but she gave RuPaul a beard.
Oh, that's right. Hashtag Bearded Lady was back in full force. Oh my God. Even when Rue is dressed as a man, he has less facial hair than Candy Ho did.
Oh my gosh, that poor girl.
But Max and Violet, they did okay. I mean, they weren't bad. They remembered their lines. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Ross Matthew was a little confused with the way that Max was portraying Merle, but Max's explanation was he was trying to portray Merle through the way that Michelle Visage sees her.
Right.
So I thought it was cute. I mean, it was
And then he said he
great,
was,
but
and then he said he was the Meryl Streep of drag.
Ross Matthews cracks me up.
He's a treat. He's a treat.
uh, The last team was Pearl as Michelle, Miss Fame as Merle, and Jaden as RuPaul. Again, as RuPaul, couldn't remember her lines. What is it with all the girls that played RuPaul? You know?
Yeah,
The other
yeah.
two, I think Pearl was okay, and Miss Fame was okay, although she started to get into her own head again. She's trying so hard, to evolve and grow that she's knocking herself back.
Yeah, and she's putting her foot in her mouth. She doesn't know when to shut up. She's got to,
Uh
just
huh.
say what you got to say and be quiet. She just kept on and on, and I don't know when to stop, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I keep talking, and I'm like, girl, just be quiet. If everybody's looking at you with a blank face, obviously you're talking too much.
Yeah, I think it's some insecurities. I mean, especially with her background, growing up on a farm, with chickens and, now to be on, this big, huge show here and being so young as she is, she's really trying, but I think she's
Yeah,
getting inside her own head, like she keeps
yeah.
saying.
Mhm.
Kind of feel sorry for her a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
me
a
too.
little.
Me too.
Just a little. Not too
Just a
much
little.
because she's so
She's
fucking
too.
beautiful.
Exactly. I was just gonna say the same thing. She's too beautiful for me to feel sorry for her.
Exactly. Rosemary, what did you think of RuPaul's gown and look this week?
I thought it was absolutely beautiful, but I couldn't determine whether it was green because on my screen it looked green, or if it was black with some highlights or something to it. But I thought it was gorgeous. I love the whole slit and the whole boa type thing down the side of it, and of course it fit her to like a glove. It was
Hmm.
gorgeous. I enjoyed it. Her makeup, her hair, everything was perfect.
I agree with you, and it came off as green on my screen as well. Now, with all the appliques and decorations down the front, kind of thought it was, a little Christmassy. I mean, if she was going to a Christmas gala, she'd be the queen of the ball in that gown. I mean, it
That's
was
true.
tailored so nicely. The color was good for her skin tone. Her makeup and hair. Oh my gosh, it was, it's RuPaul. She never
Mm-hmm.
misses on that mark.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just so glad she didn't bring out another one that was hashtag butt fucking ugly or hashtag golden rabbit ears again. I
I think
loved
she
it.
heard you.
She might have. Best gown in weeks for sure. That's for
Yeah.
sure. All right, everybody. We're going to do something a little new here. We're going to do what we call rapid runway. That's where we're going to show the pictures of each of the girls and we're going to sum up what we thought of their looks in one sentence or less. Are you ready, Rosemary?
I'm ready.
First up, we had Katya.
I think Katya captured the theme.
Absolutely beautiful. Or I fell on the floor laughing when she came out with that shark on her leg. Okay. Next up, we have Ginger.
What an adorable teddy bear.
I wonder whose porridge she's eating tonight. Next up, Kennedy.
What the fuck was that?
You stole my line.
What the hell was that? Was it a chicken or horse? What was it? Even after she explained it, I still didn't know what the hell it was.
I didn't either. All I can say is cluck, 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 dead chicken. I have no idea. Look at that, Kennedy. You incited a riot over here on our rapid runway. We can't shut up about it. Next up, Max.
I loved the story.
Again, you
I
stole what I was going to say. Max's runway. Max's runway told a story without a single word. Next up, we have Candy Ho.
She took a bite out of the runway.
Until she opened her mouth, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. Next, Miss Fame.
She gave me a beautiful headache.
Instead of sticking it to the other queens, I think she stuck herself this week. On a side note here, the wig that she wore, I saw that in the workroom with the knife in it. I thought that was going to be Max's wig when I saw it.
It would have been, right?
Pearl.
She totally broke me up.
Trixie Mattel and Sharon Needles had a baby. She reminded me so much of Sharon Needles, but her makeup was like Trixie Mattel. I just thought it was so funny. Next up, we had Jaden Dior Fierce.
She needed to be locked up with that outfit.
I got what she was doing, but it kind of didn't work.
No, it didn't.
And last, but certainly not least, again, jeez, Miss Violet Chachki.
Again, what the fuck? I have no idea what that was.
I know we're supposed to give only one line, but I have one word. Ow! That waist.
What did she die of though? That's not. I kept saying, did she squeeze herself to death? I mean, what did she die of? I didn't get it.
I don't either, but all I could do is just look at that waist and be like, ow, 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 that hurts. That's gotta hurt. So that must be the way she died, is she put her corset on too tight and it squeezed all the oxygen out of her, I guess.
Oh.
Now, the winners of the challenge was Team 1, Ginger, Katya, and Kennedy. And the ultimate winner was Katya. Yay! And I also have to say the only reason Kennedy was safe was because she was in that team. Because if Ru was judging these individually instead of as teams, Kennedy would not have been safe because she sucked and her runway was terrible.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
The
Hmm.
bottom two this week ended up being Candy Ho and Jaden Dior Fierce. Rosemary, do you agree with this one?
Yes, I do. I do agree with those two.
Okay, that's simple enough. I don't.
Oh,
I
wouldn't you think
don't.
should have been at the bottom?
I think Kennedy should have been the bottom. She totally screwed up in her challenge. She couldn't remember her lines. And, like I said, the other two carried her through. And her runway look was just, what the fuck was that? So I think she should have been in the bottom too. Um, Replacing Jaden. Actually, I think Jaden did better in the challenge, even though she couldn't remember her lines. I think she gave us a little more Rue than Kennedy did. And with her runway outfit, it wasn't a great runway, but at least I knew what was going on. I
Yeah.
knew what she was doing. So I would have put Kennedy in the bottom. Now, ultimately, Candy Ho was sent a packet. Do you agree with that decision?
No, I don't agree with Candy Ho being sent because I thought Candy Ho was a phenomenal lip syncer. I thought she was much better. She really, um, I can understand why they would send her home because of the whole beard thing, and they keep telling her about it. But I think that girl was a really good performer, and she should have stayed.
Yeah, based on the lip sync, I would have kept Candy Ho also because
Hmm.
that seems to be her thing. And
Yeah.
she tears it apart every time she does her lip sync. But
Hmm.
someone who's in the bottom that many times, they need to move on.
Hmm.
So I think based on that reason, yes. On the lip syncing alone, no, because again, she tore it apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I do want to bring something up before we go into our drag cat and our drag rat this week,
Hmm.
and that
Hmm.
was Max and her look with the gray hair. She was critiqued and kind of chewed out by Michelle Visage. Max, I asked you to do one thing. What was it? And Max replied, you want me to change my gray hair. And then and nobody's asking her to change, just try something different. And Ross Matthews replied, that's exactly what changing is.
That's right.
And RuPaul started laughing. I started laughing. It's like, damn, Ross, you just shut her down,
That's
didn't you?
right. And I love his look when he said that. His eyes opened up like that's exactly what change is.
Uh-huh. So, cheers to you, Ross, for allowing and wanting people to be themselves. I loved it. So, Rosemary, who was your drag cat this week? The one that was just perfect in your eyes.
The perfect one for me this week was Max.
Again!
Surprise! And I tell you what, I thought she did great in her acting, even though they didn't understand what she was going for until it was explained, that she was doing Merle based on how Michelle Visage would have thought that she would do Merle Ginsburg. I got it. I understood it. I loved, loved, loved her story going down the runway. So she's got my vote again. She's my drag cat.
I will say this, her story going down, she's one of only two that really had a story. You could tell what was going on
That's right.
without a word. And I thought her story was great. But my drag cat this week is Cat Yaw. I loved her acting. I loved her runway. Her face was beautiful. Her hair was beautiful. And when they panned down and showed that shark, I literally fell out of my chair laughing my ass off. I just thought it was so funny. And she just looked beautiful. So
Hmm.
my drag cat is Cat Yeah. Now let's go to the part of the show that we don't like to talk about. Oh, yes, we do. Who am I kidding? The drag rat. So, Rosemary, who needs to go sit out by the dumpster and eat some moldy cheese?
Well, my drag rat this week is going to be a little different. It's going to be someone that I really like, but I think she blew it this week, and that's Kennedy Davenport. I think she blew it with her acting, that whole runway thing. I had no idea. I mean, it was a toss-up between her and Jayden, but at least Jayden captured the idea on the runway. I have no idea what Kennedy's head was at, so I have to
Right.
give it to Kennedy this week.
Well, as difficult as this is to say, you being a woman and you being straight and just being on the other side of the coin from me completely here, I totally agree with you. My drag rat is Kennedy Davenport. Acting was terrible. Her look in the acting was terrible. Her look on the runway was, what the fuck was that? And I am not digging this girl's personality at all. I think she is mean. I think she's a bully. And to sum it up, I think she's a real fucking bitch. She's catty. She talks behind everybody's back, and she thinks she's the shit, yet she doesn't put it out. So I'm going to be kind of like you this week and not base it just on the look. I'm going to base it on all around. And all around, she is my rat.
Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good, we agree.
We agree. For those of you watching, there are times that Rosemary and I do not agree, and there are times that we do agree. But it seems most of the time we agree on our drag rats. I think we both just know bad taste when we see it.
Exactly.
All right, Rosemary, it's week 6. Not a lot left to go. Who do you got planted in your top 3 going for the crown now?
You have my Max. I still have her in there. And then Pearl, because Pearl is really waking up. I think she's really, letting her personality shine now. I think she's getting the message. And I have Miss Fame on my list because I think she's absolutely beautiful. But if she doesn't change that whole, oh, I can't stop talking, type of thing, and that lack of confidence, if she continues to display that lack of confidence, she's gonna get booted off, because I think people are starting to get annoyed with that. But for now, I'm gonna keep her on my list because I think she's just drop dead gorgeous.
Okay. Well, on my 3, I've got Ginger, still. I've got Katya, still. They're staying. And Max. I am keeping Max. I'm watching the show, and these 3 are continually solid. They're consistent. Where the others, go up and down and up and down. These 3 are consistent. So based on the consistency, week to week to week, I'm still keeping for the second week in a row Ginger, Katya, and Max. I thought it was so funny when Katya was teamed with Ginger that the first thing that basically came out of her mouth was Ginger. It would be Ginger doing Danny DeVito, doing Tony Soprano, doing the Fonz, doing Michelle Visage.
That was great. That was great. Because I know she keeps referring to her as Danny DeVito, but when she threw in all those other characters, I said, oh my God, I could see it. I could see the transformation.
I know, it just made me laugh so much. Everybody, I'd like to thank you. I know Rosemary would like to thank you for checking us out again this week. Be sure to come back next week for an all-new drag chat following RuPaul's Drag Race. Until next week, you do us all a favor. You have a great week, you have fun, and you get home safe. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at DragChat.
Follow us on Facebook.
Don't forget to subscribe by clicking below.